Welcome back, everyone. Today is a really exciting day because we're going to go out for a test drive together. This is some gorgeous weather that we're having in Northern Virginia in the middle of December. It's nice and sunny. It's not too cold. All of the snow and the salt have melted away from the grounds, so this is about as perfect as it gets for a test drive. So we're going to leave the hood off the car. Hopefully you won't get pulled over for that. To review where we're at in the process, 2 episodes ago we went through the new engine break-in procedure now that we have the rebuilt cylinder head installed in the car. So we let the car run for about 20 minutes in the garage to check for any leaks. We revved the engine anywhere from 15 to 3,000 RPM. After doing that, we adjusted the idle to about 800. We set the ignition timing as well as we could. And the car does seem to have fairly healthy fuel pressure, at least at idle. But this is before we've done a full tune-up on the car, which will include things like checking the vacuum and the fuel pressure throughout the rev range, checking the air-fuel ratio, and fine-tuning the valve adjustment. But all that will come after our first test drive. So the point of this test drive isn't to push the car really hard. The point of this is to check that the engine is behaving reasonably well. And most importantly, we're going to be noting any weird noises or weird behaviors that we'll need to troubleshoot later. And we don't expect the car to run perfectly right now, but we need to make a list of everything that we need to troubleshoot. So that's what this test drive is all about. So we're going to go out for about 30 minutes. We'll set the video up in the car so you guys can see what happens. All right. My door won't close. I wonder if anyone else has this problem. Like, door doesn't close all the way unless I push it from the outside. Make sure that the car is in neutral with the handbrake on. Like I said, it took a little while, but it's up. RPM is right around that 1100. It's already dropping back down. It's at 1000. We're gonna let the car warm up for just a bit before we take it out. Oil pressure is now sitting at 45, but we expect that to drop as the engine oil gets warmed up. And the engine is idling nice and smooth. I don't know if the clock still works. It probably doesn't. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I don't have the fan shrouds reinstalled onto the car just yet. I don't think that's going to be an issue today. I don't think the car is going to overheat, mostly because we have the hood off the car. And temperature outside is 42 degrees, so I don't think we're going to have an overheating issue because of that, but we'll have to keep a close eye out onto the temperature gauge, especially if we end up sitting in traffic. But hopefully we'll avoid that and hopefully we won't have an overheating issue. We're not going to wait around until the car is fully warmed up in this garage. We'll take it out and start driving nice and slow. Here we go. That's my neighbor. a beautiful day. Whoa, a little bit of surging there. We're not going to push the car above 4,000 today. We're going to shift at around 3,500. I'm noticing that the transmission is making a lot of noise. There's a lot of vibration in the shifter. And I don't think it's a grinding noise, but it's I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I think a transmission rebuild might be in the works. I love it. I'm gonna keep saying this, but it runs so much better than before. I mean, granted, before was when we had a blown head gasket running on basically 5 cylinders. And I think we'll have to work on the suspension a lot because it is very floaty. It's not tight at all. I mean, I don't know if the shocks and the springs are original. But they're definitely going to have to be replaced along with all the bushings that I know that are just rotting away. The suspension doesn't feel great. I have no confidence in the corners. It just feels like I'm driving on a cloud. We're gonna have to work on that. I wonder if the heater still works. Oh man, it does. I didn't think it would work. Well, actually it's just blowing cold air. But the fan still works. Yeah, the engine's running well, but let's face it, this is not a nice ride. Yeah, so we definitely have an issue with the RPM sticking or hanging. When I let go of the accelerator, it doesn't come right back down as it should. And that could be caused by a number of things. It could be a faulty air fuel meter. It could be something that's holding the throttle valve open. It could be a vacuum leak. But we'll have to make a note of that and see if we can troubleshoot it back in the garage. If you guys have any experience fixing or troubleshooting hanging RPMs like this, or high idles once you're out onto the roads, let me know, because I'll need your help. I'm mostly just happy to be out here. And one more thing to note, the brakes feel super mushy. I don't know if I didn't bleed the brakes correctly or something needs to be replaced, but the brakes do feel very mushy. And the list of to-do items just keeps on growing. Alright, we're just gonna cruise on the highway for a little while. And I really appreciate having the 5th overdrive gear. It just makes highway cruising so much more, or so much easier. Alright, the whining from the transmission is actually becoming a lot more noticeable now that we're at high speed. Getting a lot of looks, probably because I have my hood off. Every car that's passing by is just staring at me. Oh man, this thing just cruises. I love it. Man, I really feel like I could take this across the country right now. I just need to have a toolbox in the back and call my insurance company to make sure that I have great towing coverage. Alright, so as soon as I come to a stop and depress the clutch, the engine just revs up to around 2500 and it comes back down really slowly. Right now it's sitting at 2000, it's coming slowly back down, but that is a problem. And my brake light is on. Even though we know that the handbrake is not engaged. I'm having so much fun, but it's not because the ride is nice. And, well, there's no soundproofing in the car. It's definitely loud in here. The heater is just blowing cold air. My rear view mirrors are just flopping around. There's all kinds of just rattling in the car. The suspension is soft, the brakes are soft. But I could not care less. This is a good day. I absolutely love it. I could probably use some sound deadening in here. It's just awfully loud. And it's not the exhaust, it's just the road noise. I'm just hearing everything, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I just rather not. I mean, I get that it's a 40-year-old car, but I would like to have a conversation in here with a passenger without having to yell. I love this car even more now. I think I'll keep it for a very long time. And it looks like this car is going to keep me busy.
Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. And I'll see you guys next time.